One of the most important pieces of evidence against a person in a Minnesota DWI case is the chemical evidence. In many cases, that chemical evidence will come in the form of a breath test or breath tests. In Minnesota, there are two different types of DWI breath tests available. The first is called a preliminary or portable breath test. The second is an evidentiary breath test. There are some very important differences both in the technology and in the legal implications of each of these tests. A preliminary breath test, or PBT for short, is a handheld device. It's typically used at the scene of an arrest by an officer prior to making an arrest decision. It's not as reliable as the bigger evidentiary breath test devices and usually is not used against the person to prove guilt or innocence in court. However, when it shows positive for alcohol and at a result that's close to or above the legal limit, it can help an officer make an arrest decision. For certain people under certain circumstances, there may be penalties for refusing to take the breath test. An evidentiary breath test is different. The evidentiary breath test is the big machine, the official one, conducted after you're arrested, usually at the police station. The machine that's most commonly in use in Minnesota DWI cases is called the Data Master. Most people still refer to the machine as a breathalyzer, but this is a misnomer. The breathalyzer was a brand that's no longer in use in most areas. The Data Master is also a brand name that's in use in Minnesota and several other states. The Data Master DWI breath test machine measures the results, does some calculations, and then prints them out. And that printout is what police officers and prosecutors use to prove your guilt or present their case in court. If you refuse to submit to this evidentiary breath test on the big machine, usually at the station, you can be charged with a separate criminal misdemeanor offense. It's important to note that breath testing in Minnesota DWI cases is not precise. In fact, it's prone to many errors and variables that can affect the result. In fact, some of these variables can make an innocent person who, say, has a 0.06 or a 0.07 true alcohol level look like they're above a 0.08 and guilty. On the other hand, it can also make somebody who's at a 0.10 or a 0.12 look innocent if the variables fall in their favor. Consult your attorney for more information on how those variables might apply to you and your case. It's also important to note that the Data Master, and all breath testing for DWI for that matter, is prone to maintenance and operator errors. If the machine is not properly maintained or the test is not properly applied in your case, the result that it spits out could be meaningless. In Minnesota, there are many different challenges available to DWI breath tests. The challenges available really depend on the ambition and the creativity of the defense attorney in any given case. There are some that have been successful, and there are others that have not been. An attorney will know the most recent updates as to which issues are currently being litigated successfully and which issues show promise. If a breath test can be successfully attacked in a court of law, that breath test may be thrown out. If the breath test is thrown out, the case will either be dismissed, or in most cases, even if it's not dismissed, there will not be enough evidence for the prosecutor to proceed without it. To learn more about breath testing in Minnesota, DWI cases, visit DUIattorney.com/Minnesota/MN-evidence and explore the other pages on DUIattorney.com in the general section to learn about chemical testing and breath testing in general.